I used to think that I couldn't drink alcohol and lose weight. And in the UK, we have this weird mentality around flexibility and fitness. People can call it all or nothing, but I call it a bit of a broken mindset. Or it could be just the fact that you haven't learned the system I'm about to show you. And if you're new here, then you might think I'm full of shit. And I don't blame you, there's a lot of that. But if you don't learn anything, I'll make you a deal. If this video doesn't help you learn how to balance your weekends, I give you full permission to go into the comments and give me hate below. And just quickly, before we get into this, make sure you get an idea of what calories you should be on. And if you don't, I'll link the video and the calorie calculator down below. You can go figure it out after this. I'm going to show you this visual to really help you kind of understand the piggy bank and stop being the pig. Let's say the person has a deficit goal of 2,000 calories. For easy numbers, over the course of the week, they do manage to have their 2,000, that doesn't look like a 2, on each day. I know each day might be different, but just humour me just now with this. But then the weekend comes around and they have their usual 2,000 calories. And then they decide to order in a pizza, which, let's say it's a Domino's, is at least 2,000. And they have 8 pints of beer, which, again, very easily done. I've done it this weekend. So if the pizza's 2,000, the beer's around 1,600, that's going to leave you with about 5,600 calories for that day. Then the next day, you're a little bit hungover, and then you decide, actually, you have your usual 2,000, and then you fancy another takeaway, and maybe some snacks, and let's say that's an extra 1,000 on top of this. And this is me being generous, right? So that's 3,000. So if the target was 14,000 for the week, we've actually ended up having 20,600, if my maths is right. So the way I like to do it is that we start at the weekend and we take the weekend that we would usually have, swap some stuff about, and it makes such a difference. So I'm going to give you an example. Let's still have the pizza, the kebab, whatever, but let's make a bit of a healthier version of it. So let's say you give yourself a limit of 800 to 1,000 calories before that pizza, and you think, do you know what? I'm going to give myself some more calories ahead of time. I'm going to give myself an extra 1,000 calories. So I'm going to give myself 3,000 for that day, and then I'm going to give myself 2,500 for the day after. But I'm going to keep it pretty similar to what I'm actually having usually. So I have 800 to 1,000 calories during the day. I try and maximise protein, fibre, etc. And then I decide I'm going to create a pizza that's maybe 500, 600, 700, 800 calories, and then I can still have 8 bottles of beer and I'd still be around my 3,000 calorie mark. And I've not really changed and I've not overhauled my diet. It's not all or nothing. And then the next day I decide, you know what, I'm going to have my usual 2,000 calories, but I'm going to be a bit hungover, so I'm going to give myself an extra 500 calories worth of snacks. And again, if you start like this and you preempt what's going to happen and you start at the weekend, then you can go, I'm going to take this number, and then you take that 14,000 number and you take that away from that number, and then whatever number that gives you, you divide that by the remaining 5 days, which is going to give me, in this case, 1,700 calories as a target for the rest. And it is like a bank account. So not every day is going to be the same. If this was 1,600 one day, you banked an extra 100, that means that the next one technically could be 1,800 to kind of put you to even. But it gives you a bit of a framework to see that this isn't obsessive. Eventually you'll not have to do anything like this, and you'll just be able to do it in your brain to know you're in the right ballpark. But ultimately, I don't understand the whole premise behind people thinking that tracking calories, even just to bring about some awareness, is obsessive, when if you are to track your money and your finances, it's not. It's clever. And this is coming from someone who doesn't track my calories anymore, so this is not a calorie tracking bandwagon or advertisement, because I don't get anything from that. But it is about bringing about awareness. So hopefully this has helped you visualise it a little bit, and I'm going to help you a little bit more by using these marbles. Right, so let's say each of these marbles represents 1,000 calories in your deficit. By the end of the week, you've got that choice. But then you have your takeaways and everything else, and this is still empty. Or you use my framework, and then as each week goes by, week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6, and then maybe you have a wedding and does some progress a little bit, you pull it back the next week, and you keep going until you reach your goal. So you get the choice that you do that and you follow this framework and you keep being all or nothing, or you just keep doing this. That's exhausting. Fucking noisy as well. So if you found this helpful and you want to get out this cycle of all or nothing, but you want some help, accountability and support to do so, I don't sponsor these videos with anything other than my own services. And the beauty of this is going to cost you less than 2 pints at the weekend or your takeaway
that you don't have because of this video. All the info's down below, so let me tell you about it.
You can apply for my coaching below. At the moment, there's a waiting list, but you'll get access to me. I'll be able to answer any of your questions on a daily basis. You'll get access to any of the group calls. You'll get access to the private community group. You'll get access to your workouts, all my recipes over the years, all my frameworks over the last 10 years, everything. The best thing about this is that takeaway that you would have had this weekend, next weekend, whatever, it's going to be less than that per month, right? Certainly at the moment, the time of filming this, might put my prices up by the time you're watching this if you're 6 months or a year down the line. But that being said, there's no contracts, and I can guarantee you that even if after a couple of months you want to leave or it's not for you, you'll regret that a lot less than that takeaway that you just felt guilty about afterwards. So you can apply below.